There was a time before YouTube and Spotify, when MTV reigned supreme and when people watched music videos on TV. It was a time when the channel called Music Television, remember, actually played videos for songs rather than just reruns of reality TV shows. It was a time when future filmmakers turned their hands to the medium, cutting their teeth amongst rock stars and winning awards for them. It was a time before videos became mostly just an afterthought. But not all music videos made it to the exalted channel, because rather than seeing them as opportunities to show off their songs, some bands instead chose to make sure nobody was allowed to see them. Through a combination of bizarre, X-rated or downright disturbing imagery, they got their songs banned from MTV. And it wasn't like it was just some no-name bands either. Some of the worst offenders were the most famous acts in music. I'm Kirsten from What Culture, and these are 10 shocking music videos by big-name artists. Number 10, Body Language by Queen. We start with one of the most famous bands of all time, one of the most adored frontmen of a generation, and one of the rudest videos ever made. Quite the combination. Queen were always a bit racy and sought to bite their thumbs as to many people as possible. They basically invented the concept of mainstream shock rock in a ridiculously stuffy time. But Body Language, a rare foray into dance music for Freddie Mercury's group, went even further than normal, raising the bar for the stadium rockers in terms of the taboo. The video showcased lots of men and women in sweaty outfits, parading their bodies around a locker room, as Freddie groaned just a little too suggestively. Of course, we've seen worse these days, but when Body Language first hit the charts, it became the first video to be banned by MTV. Number 9, Stress by Justice. Whilst Queen decided to shock the 80s by leaving nothing to the imagination clothes-wise, Justice shocked the world in a somewhat different way back in 2008. Stress depicts a group of hoodies all with Justice logos embroidered on their backs, channeling the very specific public anxiety, in Europe mostly, around so-called gangs of hoodies. In this case, the concern is well placed. The gang beat up an old lady, throw Molotov cocktails, graffiti Paris, fight the police, and generally run riot. They're the kids that the media warned us all about. And though it probably doesn't offend the majority of Justice's fanbase, it's uneasy watching for those who think it might send a message out to kids. So why exactly is it so shocking? Well, the gang comprises of non-white youths. Some deemed it racist, some deemed it a massive political statement. The French government banned it, just to be on the safe side. Number 8, Girls on Film by DURAN. Back in the 80s, Simon Le Bon and the Boys had released 2 singles, neither of which did particularly well in the charts, both failing to trouble the top 10. But then along came the 3rd single and everything changed, because Girls on Film not only launched the band, it launched them with a bang. Directed by easy-listening duo Godley and Cream, the video depicts lots of girls wearing not very much on a catwalk before mud wrestling inevitably ensues. Predating Freddie's sexual sweat by a year, DURAN makes the Queen boys look tame, as Girls on Film pretty much became the earliest recorded use of NSFW in the MTV dictionary. If you fancy a watch, I advise you not to do so in your parents' living room. While I can use the old research excuse, you probably can't. Number 7, Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana. Just over 25 years ago, Kurt Cobain died tragically, and whether you could have sworn it was longer than that, or whether it seems like yesterday, the memory we have of him is probably Nevermind era, bee-jumpered with scraggly, dirty blonde locks. He was the poster boy for a generation, and not just a musical movement. He was also the creative driving force behind Nirvana, and also the twisted architect of the Heart-Shaped Box video. Directed by Anton Corbijn on strict instructions from Cobain, the video is set in a surreal Wizard of Oz-like reality, where Dorothy is naturally wearing a Ku Klux Klan outfit. Human fetuses grow in trees, and a big lady wears a suit with human organs painted on it. The message of the video is down to your interpretation entirely. Number 6, PROTÉGE-MOI by Placebo. Just as Queen's Body Language video looks tame in comparison to Girls on Film, Girls on Film looks positively family-friendly when compared against Placebo's PROTÉGE-MOI. A French version of the song Protect Me From What I Want, the accompanying video is just over 3 minutes worth of outright and it should come as no surprise that the director was Gaspar Noé. He ticks the box marked "shed loads of uncensored nudity" but refuses to stop there, as various sexual acts are detailed as well. Whilst it's arguable whether it's for the best to leave that to the imagination, you're only going to Google it anyway. The band released an alternate video, in case you're wondering. That one's okay to watch if you're in the office or with the family or something. Number 5, Born Free by M.I.A. Maya Arul Pragasam is no stranger to controversy. In 2012, she flicked a middle finger while performing during the Super Bowl halftime and was sued $1.5 million by the NFL. That's a costly finger. Just 2 years earlier, however, she'd done a justice and released a video appearing to persecute a minority group in society. Where justice had focused on North African and Middle Eastern kids, though, director Roman Gavras centered the plot of Born Free on one of the lesser focused on minorities. He chose to focus on the genocide of ginger-haired people. The film not only shocked the world, it earned its attention, as everybody immediately spotted the political allegory, which you'd hope they would. She'd be pretty twisted to glorify the murder of redheads. Many felt that the US media were hesitant to talk about the video, perhaps because of the Arizona immigration laws that were being passed at the time. Number 4, Turn the Page by Metallica. One of the more aggressive sounding bands on this list, Metallica are probably an unsurprising candidate for a big band with a shocking video. After all, heavy metal was always built on shock tactics, darker material, and excessive outrageous behaviour. That being said, the video that accompanies their cover of Bob Seger's Turn the Page caused outrage for different reasons entirely. It's not particularly racy or provocative in an exploitative way, or offensive per se, it's just very, very sad. It uses images of a mother and her daughter which are interspliced with the mother stripping and earning money from sex. And not only is there a fair amount of abuse in her job, she defends her occupation in short clips before and after the song. A short film was made of the video, which stars Ginger Lynn Allen, a real-life actress. Number 3, Like a Prayer by Madonna. Madonna was known as the queen of shocking the world for a while. If she wasn't taking advantage of a wardrobe malfunction at the 1984 MTV Awards or releasing a coffee table book called Sex, she was starring in music videos designed to offend as many people as possible. Lady Gaga might have shocked the world with her meat dress, but 20 years prior, Madonna offended the Pope with one of her music videos in particular. Somewhat inevitably, Like a Prayer was considered blasphemous from the get-go, but the use of religiously provocative imagery in the video took it to the next level. Chief among the offending images were those of flaming crosses and the singer sharing a passionate kiss with a saint. What's perhaps more shocking, though, is the controversy that followed, as many people weren't happy with the fact that the saint was black, and probably an allegory for Jesus, as Pepsi withdrew all sponsorship deals with Madonna. Still, none of the fallout prevented Madonna from associating herself with crucifix imagery on future tours. Critics must have warmed to the video by now. After all, Like a Prayer does feature superior acting to her cameo in Die Another Day. Number 2, Come to Daddy by Aphex Twin. Let's get one thing straight. Richard D. James is one of the scariest men in music. At one point, he released a song that, when played run through a spectrograph, reveals an image of a demon's face, which is actually him. And if that wasn't scary enough, the video for Come to Daddy is equally as terrifying. In it, an old lady walks a dog past a TV set and accidentally awakens the face of the devil himself, hungry for her soul. As you do. And then about a dozen children come along, all with James's faces superimposed onto their heads. Antisocial behaviour ensues before a bony grey zombie climbs out of the TV, scares the old lady and morphs into James, who then pats his freaky Aphex children's heads. The message behind the video is somewhat unclear, but you'll certainly be reliving it long into the night as you're trying to get to sleep. Number 1, Smack My Bitch Up by The Prodigy. They say you should never judge a book by its cover, but to judge the Smack My Bitch Up video on its title wouldn't land you too far from the truth. This video is one of the most notorious of all time, and seeing it unedited, or even at all, at the time of release was a matter of waiting for it to screen after midnight on TV channels brave enough. Even now, it's rarely on YouTube. The video charts one debauched night out, complete with fighting, drinking, heavy drug abuse and sex, all set to the sirenly tones of Liam Howlett, the late great Keith Flynn and co. Released in 1997, the video unsurprisingly attracted heavy criticism from feminists, despite the big twist at the end of the clip which revealed that the perpetrator on this crazy trip is in fact a woman as well. And that's our list. What's your favourite shocking video? Leave us a comment below and let us know. But for now, I've been Kirsten from What Culture, and I'll see you in the next one.